Alrighty, so this is a video that I said I'd do in my Playmobil review, and here it is. This is an explanation of my rating system. You've only seen two of the different ratings that I can give a movie, and I wanted to go ahead and explain the ratings that I have because I figured doing like a letter grade or like a 5 out of 5 or something like that, it would just be really boring and you wouldn't really care all that much if I was just like, yeah, this is a 4 out of 5 or a 2 out of 5 or a C minus. I figured there was something more interesting I could do, so I kind of came up with my own system that kind of follows those guidelines a little bit more flexibly, but is a little more interesting to watch. So let's just go ahead and jump in to my ratings. I have 6 different tiers. I have a Gold Star Award, a spot on the podium, a double tap, a PB&J, a Jim Halpert Face, and Barefoot on a Lego. So we're going to talk about it from the top down, just a little bit briefly about what each tier is. And then that'll be the video. Just wanted to give a little bit of context as to how I'm looking at these movies. So a Gold Star movie is a movie that I think is fantastic. It is like a top tier movie, one I would easily recommend to everybody. It's a movie that barely has any negatives for me. It's one that I often like have to own on Blu-ray. And depending on the genre, it's emotionally gripping or flat out awesome or drop dead hilarious, just depending on the genre of the film, or all three if it's a really masterful film. But these are like top tier, like fantastic movies, often end up making it in my top 10 of the year. The next tier on my ranking is a spot on the podium. Now this goes to a film that has some flaws here and there, but overall is a pretty solid movie. Very often these movies are a cut above the rest, so like better than most movies, but it lacks something that really makes it truly special, so it doesn't quite get that Gold Star Award. Hence the name The Podium. It's designed to not be the best, but it's still really good. Like number 2 or number 3 on a podium, especially like the Olympics, that's never a bad thing. Like a silver or a bronze is not a bad thing, but it's not gold. The next tier that I have is the double tap, and I got this idea just from Instagram. You know, you double tap, sweet, I like that picture. And these are those movies that like aren't super great, definitely more positive than negative, but still have some pretty glaring negatives throughout. A lot of times these movies are going to be forgettable, so you don't quite remember them all as well, or they don't have a whole lot of rewatch value. A lot of the times, a double tap movie will have a lot of great rewatch value, so I often will buy these on Blu-ray. One example of this would be the 2014 RoboCop. There are a lot of issues with that movie, but I think it's just a really fun movie. So that is the double tap tier. Let's move on to the PB&J tier. This is my favorite tier title on this list, and a PB&J is... it's like right down the middle. This is what I'll give a lot of like 2.5. So like it's not amazing, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. It's got positives, it's got negatives. A lot of the times they're boring, predictable, bland, forgettable, insert your adjective here. That's kind of what a PB&J is. Like it's never a first choice movie. And it, like, the best PB&J sandwich is still a PB&J sandwich. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's not terrible, but it's never a first pick, but like I said, it's just right down the middle. It's one that, like, it's serviceable, it gets the job done, but it's never a first pick, and it's never one that you're gonna, like, actively seek out. As we approach the bottom of our tier list, we have a Jim Halpert Face. A Jim Halpert Face is not a very good movie. It has a lot of negatives, and maybe it has a couple positives, but it's never anything that ultimately saves the movie. A lot of the times, these are movies that just don't do anything original. They're just boring, they're predictable, and they just leave a bad taste in the mouth. They don't do anything creative with it. You can tell it's just a movie that is really unnecessary in the grand scheme of things. Sometimes you'll get some ironic enjoyment out of it. You'll find a terrible movie, but has some entertainment value in it. For example, The Fanatic that came out this year, that is an awful movie, but it has some ironic enjoyment there, so I would bump that instead of Barefoot on a Lego. I would give that a Jim Halpert Face, even though from a filmmaking level it is most definitely Barefoot on a Lego, but because I enjoy it, I give it a Jim Halpert Face. Does that make sense? You see why I have this rating system. It's a lot more fluid. I love it. It doesn't confine me to a box. It's great. Finally, the last tier that I have is Barefoot on a Lego, and you can probably guess where I'm going with this, but these are the ones that are just the worst, just the most painful things in the world. It's a movie that I never want to watch again. It's a movie that I would never recommend to anyone. I would tell everybody to get as far away from it as they could. It's just those truly awful movies, and I'm not going to use this one all that much because to say a movie is as bad as Barefoot on a Lego, that's a pretty bold thing to say, and you really can't go back on it once you say it. So that's my tier list. It's pretty basic, but it's more fun than a number or a grade system. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video gave some more context in my marriage story and my Playmobil reviews, and it'll definitely give a lot more context going forward as I use these constantly in reviews, especially as 2020 hits. Be on the lookout for more reviews very soon, especially in 2020. Be on the lookout for some ranked videos as we approach the end of the year, and I'm going to be making a Star Wars video as well, just talking about what Star Wars means to me. I just finished a whole Star Wars watch through leading up to episode 9, and I will include my episode 9 review in there. It'll be a little bit shorter just because I want to talk about Star Wars as a whole, but my Star Wars review will be in that video, so be on the lookout for that. It'll be coming out December 20th. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time.